Hey folks, I'm Andy from BlackJack Legacy, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a few of the Wild West Exodus scenery kits from Warcradle and giving you my thoughts on them. These kits are designed to enhance the look of your games of Wild West Exodus, but they'd fit great into many other Western themed games or weird alternative history settings such as Malifaux. This set here is the Red Oak Bank, and the kits come in multiple MDF sheets, shrink wrapped to keep everything together. You can see as I flip this over that the MDF is coloured blue, and this is because it comes already primed to help you when you come to paint it, although I do think even the unpainted kits look better than the standard beige MDF. Each kit comes with a full set of instructions on how to build the scenery pieces and show all the parts required at each step really clearly, as each part has a letter and a number relating to the correct sheet and also highlights the parts in red. In this Red Oak Bank set we get 6 sheets of MDF, and you can begin to see the level of laser cut detail that's on these parts. This set gives you the option to have your building as the bank or as the town hall. This gives a little more flexibility to its use and was a nice surprise as it wasn't something I realised before opening it. The town hall sign can actually be placed in or removed from the kit, so you can switch it up for future games too. As with most laser cut MDF kits, the pieces are semi-cut from the main sheet and held in place with small tabs, which are generally easy to break loose. You can usually just break them off with a little flexing of the sheet, however for smaller parts a sharp hobby knife will certainly help you and stop you damaging them. Here you can see the tabs, and maybe my only criticism of these kits is in the bigger pieces the tabs could be a little smaller, and on the smaller pieces there could definitely be less of those tabs holding them in place. To build the kits, just follow the instructions, break out the parts you need at each step and you'll have no issues. Here you can see that with those smaller, thinner parts, you may have to break those holding tabs with a knife to stop you accidentally snapping or damaging them. Just carefully running the blade along the tabs on each side is enough to help the pieces come out of the sheet nice and cleanly. Once they're out, you'll see that you'll have some bits to clean up where the tabs were, and I recommend you do this to ensure the parts fit together well. I find having a sheet of medium grit sandpaper and just rubbing them along the edge is the quickest and easiest way to do this. However, a sharp knife or a hobby file can also be used to do it. Once you have the parts prepped, you'll need to glue them together, and for this I use craft PVA glue or wood glue. You can also use super glue, however I find it sets too quickly and doesn't give you any working time should you make any mistakes. Always dry fit the parts together first so you know you have them fitting together correctly, and also so you know which edges will connect, and then spread your glue along those parts and fit them in place. Some parts may need to be held in place until the glue becomes tacky enough to keep everything secure. Continue working through each step until you have the completed scenery piece. I've been really impressed with how structurally strong these kits are, and they've been well designed to hold everything together. So what do I think of the kits? I've been really impressed with them. MDF scenery usually has the problem that because it's made of flat sheets of wood, they tend to look flat and boxy. However, these kits from Warcradle have been designed to make the most of multiple layers, additional decorative pieces, and some very detailed laser engraving. Here you can see the Distillery Kit, which has some really clever design for the barrels and the patches on the roof, along with the engraved sign to give it a much more textured look. Next up is the Red Oak Residence, and again, the really well thought out design of layered shingles for the roof, the double thickness posts for the porch supports, the steps up to the opening doors, and the chimney stack all give it a really characterful and less flat look than other kits I've worked with before. The Red Oak Crates, Fences and Barrels kit contains 2 gated fences, 5 normal fences, 3 barrels, 2 large lock boxes, 2 medium crates and 2 small crates, which gives you some much needed scatter terrain, especially when your Wild West Exodus posses need to hide out from that gunfight. You get more in this kit than I expected from looking at images online and on the printed cover. Some of these parts, especially for the fence structures, are quite thin, so definitely use a knife when cutting them from the sheet. Next is the bank, and along with being a fantastic looking kit, its size is very impressive and really gives some variance to the buildings in your game. The additional touches like the lamps on the balcony and the steel posts on the back of the building add to a great design. I have to say, I think seeing the images online doesn't really do these kits justice. It's the little details, the design touches, and the way they're put together that set them apart from any other kits I've worked with before. I definitely recommend these kits, and I'll certainly be adding more in the future. If you want to see how to paint these kits, or you want to see a how to play Wild West Exodus video featuring these buildings, why not subscribe for that upcoming future content. All of the roofs are removable so you can play inside the buildings during your games, the doors can all be opened, But the aesthetic touches like bullet holes and damage cut into the front of the buildings, the distillery name being engraved on the barrels, the broken bits of fences, the Union logos engraved into the lockboxes are really what set these apart. The optional patches for the roofs, the slot together support posts, the wood grain engraving on the walls, the signs like the distillery, the little dials, clocks and pipework that give a steampunk feel. The layered shingles with deep engraved gaps between tiles, making them easier to paint, rather than just being a flat piece of MDF that we would see from other companies, all make these the best MDF kits I've come across, and I've built quite a few in the past from other companies. These kits will work well with models from around 28mm to 34mm, and you can see a few of my Wild West Exodus models here for scale comparison. If you were ever on the fence about picking up these kits, then just go ahead and grab some. You won't regret it. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.